get registered PhD scholar, but supervisor are not there. And
Good afternoon, Provost sir. Welcome, sir.
Very good afternoon, sir.
Namaskar to one and all.
Namaskar, sir.
sir, good afternoon.
Ma'am, please
Sir.
begin.
Okay. So now it's live on FB also. So shall we start the webinar?
Yes, we can start.
Sir, with your permission, we can start?
We can proceed, no problem.
Okay, fine. Yeah, please.
But others are yet to join, only 41 are in the queue.
Sir, we already shared the FB link. Some of the, yeah, only our students are joined with this link only.
Then we start.
Yeah.
So shall we start, sir?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Okay. Namaste and good afternoon to one and all present here. Respected Dr. M.N. Patel, sir, Provost, Parul University, Dr. H.S. Vijayakumar, Registrar, Parul University, Dr. Ajit Gangwane, the Deputy Registrar, Dr. Sanjay Kataria, Librarian, Bennett University, and today's guest speaker, Dr. Dhaval Bhatt, Chief Librarian and Dean, Faculty of Library and Information Science, all deans and principals of various institutions of Parul University, learned members from other universities, all PhD scholars, and my dear faculty members. On behalf of PhD section and Faculty of Library and Information Science, Parul University, I, Dr. Vandana Patel, Dean Doctoral Studies and Research, heartily welcome one and all to this knowledge sharing webinar on measuring research impact. At the outset, I would like to extend my thanks to our Provost sir and Registrar sir for always supporting us in all our endeavors and be with us to grace the occasion. I also extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Sanjay Kataria, who in spite of short notice agreed to be with us, and in spite of his medical emergencies at home, he continued to support us. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Basically, if we talk about research, it is to create new knowledge or using the existing knowledge to create new solutions. And the basic purpose of every research should be to find real solution for the real life problem of the world. It should be authentic, it should be trustworthy. And it's very important to quantify the impact of research work. So this webinar will allow the delegates to understand the importance of measuring research impact. And I'm very sure that at the end of the session, the delegates will have very good take-home message as well as the learning from the expert speech. Before we start, it's my privilege to welcome M.N. Patel sir, Provost, Parul University. I request Dr. M.N. Patel sir to please bless the audience with his wise words of wisdom. Please, sir.
Namaskar to one and all. Good afternoon. It's really a privilege for me to be the part of such type of discussion, especially it is related to the research, because university nowadays mean more contribution on the research that considered to be a good university as far as ranking and other parameters are concerned. No doubt there are so many universities, as we know that about 1,000 universities across the Indias are there. As far as Gujarat is concerned, we have crossed about 80 that number. But the university which can be said as the proper, the word itself justified, that all activity must be going on parallelly, and especially we should stress more on the research part. What is research? That again a big question, that normally some requirement as for a promotion to a professor or some other things, we are going for the publication, and so that to my opinion is not an research. Especially today we have got Mr. Sanjay Kataria as our resource person. Obviously, I consider that he is an expert on library science, and with collaboration of this our library department, we are having this discussion today, as we have regular lectures going on 120, 23rd, 26th. We have a series of that lecture, and today the lecture is supported by the library science and information department. I consider that the resource person may have a wide experience, and whatever thing he will tell will definitely motivate our PhD scholar to think properly as far as the research is concerned. Normally, the government has so many policies. Whether that policy is proper or not, the research should be made on that. There are so many other things where one has to go for the research. As yesterday, I was just attending one program from the Bose company, as it is no doubt more than 120 years old company. But they were saying that every day they are going for one patent. So that is the stature of that company, where every day the thing they are producing, which is converted into the patent. So that type of research will definitely consider something new which can be useful to the society. So we should stress on that type of research which can be directly useful to the society. As we are talking about this pandemic, a lot of difficulty we are facing. Yesterday I was just taking a view that RT-PCR laboratory, out of our 32 districts in Gujarat, hardly half of the district have RT-PCR lab. You think that if it is not available at district place, what will happen at taluka place or town place, and how the people can be the sufferer of it. So I'm also a member of environment consultant, where there is some environment responsibility of the rather inventor, whether an industry people or a construction man or a mining man. We are insisting you have more than 50 lakhs rupees. Please provide the RT-PCR lab so that it can serve the society. So like that way, the research is this thing, where which will satisfy the need of the society, which will give welfare to the society. And also that today's discussion, what we are going to do, will definitely put some value to in that area. And our student, or as our expert today asked that, how many PhD scholars are there. So starting from 2015-16, we have got the university structure. Then during last 5 years, we have added rather continuously more and more the student as so far PhD admission is concerned, where we are following 100% the procedure prescribed by the UGC. As so far the written test is concerned, as so far the lectures are concerned, coursework is concerned, that DRC periodically to be conducted. And especially we are calling the expert and the guide also of that level, which is prescribed by the UGC. And like that way, we are maintaining the quality of our PhD education. And when we are maintaining the quality of PhD education, obviously we can have that type of good research come out from that. So of that, this today's discussion will give some impact on that, and we will have some good value come out from that. And all our PhD scholars, those who are hearing today, they may be benefited to that. So welcome to Mr. Kataria for joining us as an expert, and our team of PhD Dean as well as our Dean Library Science for arranging this type of talk. Thank you. Over to you, madam.
Thank you very much, sir, for a very inspiring address. Now it's time to start the session, and it's my privilege to introduce to the audience Dr. Sanjay Kataria. Dr. Sanjay Kataria has more than 2 decades of rich and fulfilling work experience. He is working as University Librarian, Bennett University, Times of India Group, Greater Noida, since August 2016. Prior to that, he served at JP Institute of Information Technology, Deemed University, Noida, and Banasthali University, Rajasthan. Dr. Kataria has contributed about 35 research papers in reputed journals, international conferences, and has also written or edited more than 10 books and conference proceedings. Dr. Kataria is on board of several prestigious national and international journals as editor and member. He has been invited by several institutes in India and abroad to deliver keynote addresses and has delivered invited talks. He conceptualized international symposium on emerging trends and technologies in libraries, an international platform for sharing global best practices of librarianship, which was held for the first time in 2008 and consequently in 2010, 12, 15, and 18. He is a recipient of several international fellowships and awards. Some of them are Commonwealth Professional Fellowship in 2012 at Middlesex University, London, 2017 at University of East London, UK, A.N. Marappan Memorial National Best Young Librarian Award 2019, Sattar Young Librarian Award 2012, and he was also honored by Madhya Pradesh Library Association for the University Librarian of the Year Award 2019 for his professional and scholarly contribution world over. Dr. Kataria also introduced a unique concept of promoting library resources, services, and facilities among research community through quizzes, learning games, workshops, seminars, etc. And the program Lit Quest 19 was organized at Bennett University with the theme Connect, Content, Collaborate, which was well organized, well appreciated by the participants. And recently, he also completed an executive program on Leadership Institute for Academic Librarians at Harvard Graduate School of Education, Harvard University, Boston, USA. He is always keen to adopt the best practices of world's top ranked institutions like Harvard University, MIT, etc. So this brief CV of Dr. Sanjay Kataria speaks volumes of his achievements and knowledge. And I'm very much sure that we are going to be benefited by his expert talk. With this brief introduction, I invite Dr. Sanjay Kataria to deliver his talk. But before I hand over the mic to him, there are some announcements for the audience. I request everyone to keep their audio video mute to avoid any disturbances. And whatever questions you have, you can type it in the chat box, which can be taken later on at the end of the session. And the feedback link would be shared in between the session. So I request all the participants to fill the feedback link, which will motivate us further to work on this path. So with this, I now hand over the session to Dr. Sanjay Kataria, and I invite him to deliver his talk. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vandana Patel, for your kind words and having a brief introduction. Before starting my session, let me acknowledge my gratitude to the host of this webinar. And let me start with the top authority of the university. And I like that person, Dr. Devanshu Patel, is the president of this university, very young, budding, president of this country. Probably he's the most young, president of, throughout the country. If you look at the president, we used to have a very senior, most and aged person, but he's very active. Very active. I hardly find a person on this kind of position who's involved with the university in day-to-day affairs. And I'm a fond follower and getting a lot of tweets and updates from on LinkedIn. Whether it's in a Parul, gotten a several hundred admissions from the international community during this pandemic. Whether it's in a maintaining Goshala for the students and some kind of a lot of organic farming and a lot of things. I know that about the Parul University and getting a lot of update from the president. So I'm thankful to the President Devanshu Patel to create in this kind of university and kind of environment, kind of community, kind of system structure. And I'm really grateful to the Dr. Aman Patel, the Vice Chancellor, provost of this university. And he's well defined the research what is the research and what should be the research and kind of research, especially in terms of the quality research. And glad to understand and know that Parul University is very actively engaged with the research and enrolled 800 students for the doctoral program. Is a very remarkable. The university is, I must say, this is a young university, and having that kind of system, kind of support environment where people getting encouraged and encouraging, and they're getting admission in the Parul University. This is really great and remarkable. And no doubt that the team that Parul University, like Dr. Vandana V. Patel, and you people are involved and engaged the research activity at the Parul University. And special thank to my dear friend, Dr. Devaldi Bhatt, the librarian of this university and Dean Parul Institute of Library Information Science, for taking and collaborating, supporting the university. He's very active and dynamic librarian. And I can understand, and I know him since last several years. And though that kind of people is required in the university system, just to increase not only the support and passive support from the library, but actively involved in the overall building of the university system. Yes, thank you very much. Thanks to all that host of all that authority of these institutions, organizing team, and special thank to my panel and all that audience who are having an interest to attend this session. So I'm going to share my screen now, and I would like to take your 1.5 hours or so, and I will try my best to, give a kind of overview about the research, measuring research impact, and just allow me to show the screen now. May request kindly confirm whether it is visible or not.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. So my job made very simple by our provost and vice chancellor of this university and Dr. Vandana. They said about the research, what is it research, and what is mean of the research and impactful research. That let us just give me an overview about. Give me an overview what I'm going to talk about. So I'll be talking about why should we concern about the research metrics? Because first and foremost that when we're going to talk about the measuring the research impact, and why should we measure the research impact? That is one of the main first question came in my mind, and I'm going to talk about why we require. Second thing is that before talking about the research metrics, we should understand the kind of research skills is required. When you have a kind of research skills, good enough research skills, fundamental research skills, and certainly that we should not worry about that kind of metrics, research metrics. Because when we are in right path, we know that what we are going to do, how we are going to do, where we are going to publish our research impactfully. Certainly the metrics will impact will be there. Then I will be talking about the kind of prominent and that kind of metrics is available for measuring the research impact. And finally, I'll give some suggestions for the scholar, and I will conclude my presentation. So, as said by the president, sir, about the research impact. I'm talking about research impact is that research is demonstrable. You should be demonstrate your research and the contribution that research make to the economy, society, culture, national security, public policies, or services, health and environment. Main concern is the quality of life, how we are adding the value to the society, the quality of life with those people, and contribute. Apart, we should not more focus on that academia. We are doing research. What said by provost, getting a promotion, publishing a few papers is not good enough until unless your research is don't have any meaning, don't have any impact and utility in the society. This is the research. Now, why should measure research impact? There is several reasons, several things are there to think about. What said by the provost again, Patel sir. He said that ranking, accreditation, benchmarking of the institution. How? Let me take you some. Let me take you some with some of slides and show you. Hope you people are aware about it.
Yes, sir.
This is a time higher education ranking. But if you look at a website of time higher education ranking and look at the current ranking, I just today morning I just looking at this website and found I was looking at that parameter though for the ranking, and then found look at this here research and the recitation. So that what said by the professor that research having a research is not enough, but having a citation impact of your research is that is important. That's why this Times Higher Education ranking, when institutions are going to apply for the ranking, they have another kind of metrics, and they have to look on particular institutions what kind of research they are going to they published, and whether they whatever amount of research they published, is there impact of the research is there or not. So apart of the research impact is more important. So that what is impact? There's a citation that means is acknowledgement of your research, the people accepting your research, that the research having some kind of impact. Okay, let me talk about next. This is again QS World University ranking, and I was very curious to see, and you look at that citation per faculty, the parameter. Look at the parameter of QS World ranking. I was going through and see The MIT is in top in 2021. And there are number of parameters, but important parameter I was considering is the citation per faculty. I just told that there is a good enough research scholar in the Parul University, and having a number of faculties, research supervisor is available. But when you're going, your institution is going for international rankings, they will not look at that whole number of publication and citation, but see that kind of criteria, citation per faculty. That means whatever amount of research has been, generated by the Parul University or whatever university, see the number of faculties available and how many paper they published over a period of time or certain period of time, and what kind of citation they got of that from that publication, and even that what is the average citation per faculty. That is an important. And if you look at it in that angle, you can understand that importance of that research metrics and impact. Now talk about the Indian scenario. Look at this national NIRF, National Institute of Ranking Framework. So what is that? Again, we have designed, developed our own ranking system in India, and MHRD is expecting that all the institutions in this country in education, they must be part of this ranking system. Purpose of the ranking, not only just to give an approval and accreditation, but see that kind of that they would like to see that institutional ministry would like to see that kind of contribution of the institution in the society, how the performance of the institution, or probably maybe tomorrow some MHRD would like to release a grant for the higher education research. They will definitely look at all these metrics, how the institution are performing, contributing. If you look at the current ranking 2020, and I found that in Indian Institute of Science or IIT Delhi is in a top, IIT Bombay, IIT Kharagpur in the top 5 or 4. So my concern is not that is who is in top, but why they're in the top. What are the metrics are there? So look at here. I was just going through NIRF ranking framework parameters. Again, I found that research and professional practice, RP. This is RP, and some kind of marks for that, for patent, some publication and citation, and they combinedly they had good enough, and very important criteria. So every institution will have to submit this data to the NIRF for the ranking, and that based on this ranking, you can look at the performance of the university. Any of university can speak anything about themselves. Any institution can do whatever marketing, digital marketing, social media marketing. But if as a parents, if I would like to, if I want to get admission for my child, certainly I will go through the NIRF ranking and look at that which institution has a good enough, capacity, capabilities, and kind of facility, and how they're performing, last 2 to 5 years or last 10 years, and based on this all the facts and figure, I'll decide, I'll make a mind to get an admission of the institution. Not that the how institution influencing and promoting their own institution, the social media or other medias. Okay. Why I'm talking about all those things? Because talking at the research metrics and how to measure research metrics is okay, but to know the reason behind and why we are measuring the metrics and what are the reasons, that is important to understand. And then I will talk about the research, measure how research can be measured. Again, another body is very important nowadays. NAAC, not only the university but the college will have to accredit themselves. Yes or no? And I was again going through that, the parameters, the weightage criteria and all that for the NAAC accreditation. And if you look at the NAAC, there is a 7 point, and look at this research and innovation extension, 250 points, highest probably. So every year we have to submit, every some interval we have to go for the accreditation and all, and the data is required. Now let me go back. So first point, I was talking about ranking, accreditation, and benchmarking of the institutions. Okay. Second reason can be, we are going to apply for the international research grant. And I was going through that European research foundation or some other research funding agencies website, and again I found that something when they're going to grant and when they're giving any kind of financial support to an institution, and when they're going to approve for any of research proposal, they look at the institution profile. And when talking about the institution profile, certainly the kind of performance, kind of research they have been produced so far, and kind of citation or whatever things are there. So therefore, whether you're going for internal national research grant or the international research grant, you require a kind of quality research and research metrics. Based on that, you can say, are your institution is performing, contributing best of best result, best of best research. Next is that when your number of institutions in this country earlier is what looked like in fashion, but nowadays, if you look at in a real term, international collaboration. When you are going for international collaboration, why Harvard, MIT, or top institution of this world should collaborate institution like any XYZ institution in this country? And even they're taking a lot of money for the collaboration. But in case institutions are having good enough capability and capacity and created a good amount of the research, impactful research along with the citation and all, certainly not only one side but both sides, they will be happy to collaborate and work together as in a team. Okay. Next is others is faculty scholar. When they are going to produce more quality research, they will get an academic recognition within the organization, and again having a social visibilities, global visibilities. And purpose, for the research, producing research is not only just to earn the money and whatever fame, but to sharing their expertise and knowledge with the society, and society can grow together, and we can add value with the humanity. So these are the again very important reason. And the faculty or the scholar who's producing research, that research, impactful research, can help in to get the promotions. Assistant professor to associate professor, when they're going to promote, certainly they have there are some parameters, not only the parameters and guidelines from the UGC, but the university even having their own criteria. And main criteria is what kind of research faculty has been published in Europe over a period of time, with the affiliation of the current organization, kind of research supervised, again parameters, and based on that they're getting a kind of financial benefits also. So therefore, whenever the young budding librarian, research scholars or the faculty going to produce the research, they have to keep in mind all those things, that whatever research we are going to produce, that should have a good enough quality, because they are getting a lot of benefit out of it. Sometimes some situation is there that there is one position in a department, say Department of Biotechnology, and there are 4 people are working together, but there is one position are there for the promotion, and how to get the promotion from all those 4 or 5 people candidates are available. And therefore, if you look at as a faculty, as a scholar, I will look at the profile of my peer, how many paper he has published, how many citation he has received, what is his H index, what kind of publication he has published, where he is published, what is the impact factor of those journal where he is published. So there are few things which help you to understand the kind of research contribution of your peer. You can compare yourself anytime. Next is that attraction admissions, as I said, yes, there is a lot of other benefit of the research metrics. Research, quality research, you people can attract and invite admissions and many other facilities and opportunity to the institution. So therefore, we should keep watch and we should track our research metrics. In my university at Bennett University, I'm the person who's responsible for the university publication. We designed in a repository all the publication published by the faculty member, research scholar, that will come to the library automatically. There is a repository, they can submit or they can send to us. And we used to take care of those publications, not only just to submit and store the publication. What we do, I used to do kind of benchmarking. Like Bennett University, since last 5 years, we have not completed 5 years so far. I did some benchmarking. We have not completed 5 years. We are going to complete 5 years. And I took a criteria that initial first 5 years of the establishment of institution like Amity, some IIT or some other young institutions around us. I took, I frame a criteria. Initially, first 5 years, what kind of research they produce. And I just gone through this, I extracted the data from the Scopus and did benchmarking. And then found that it was a really great satisfaction that there are a number of good institutions having good name, fame. They have not, contributed the research the way we produce research. I have a fact and figure. I can say in a public domain right now, I can show the data. Why? Because we are concerned about how we are doing. Because until we are not having our own assessment, rather the other people will assess, we should assess, we should have an assessment our own continuously, and we should look at the where we are lacking, and so that we can improve that particular area. So this is an important. Okay. Now, now concern is that how to initiate quality research in the organization, how to create. There are some process and procedure and steps which we should follow. First and foremost is a preparation. We have to prepare in a different angle, different sense for the research activities. As said by Professor, that they should have good infrastructures or kind of lab and laboratories. Library is one of the important, one of the important source and support for the research. With no research can perform without having good research, good library or good resources. Therefore, we have to prepare ourselves. We have to create we need to create facilities. We have to create a kind of environment. We have to create we have to develop a kind of research policy. We have to invite the good budding young research scholars, and also, if possible, to give us some internal research grant, like we are giving to in Bennett University, internal initial, startup grants and all. Then after we are applying for other, funding agencies. And when you have a good enough environment and a system culture for the research, and going to produce a research, then whatever research you people have produced, we need to promote that research. We have to visualize, we have to put that research in such a way that research can be accessed, can reach out to the all that concerned community. So when the people will look at your research, and see the kind of quality research, they will happy to read, they will happy to write, they will happy to cite your research, and that is ultimately your research impact. That is a citation. So let me tell you my experience, last 20 years of my experience in higher education. You will be surprised that I introduced this paper, Research Skills, at Bennett University in 2017. Even UGC, initiated that similar kind of, curriculum in 2018. And this paper is approved by Academic Council at Bennett University and teaching since 2017 itself. And purpose purpose of this paper is just to support and educate our research community and the faculty member about the basic fundamental skills of the research. I can have a, good enough proof and kind of experience and exposure that not only the young research scholar, but even senior research scholar faculty member would not able to get whatever required for the research in terms of the literature. So I introduced this paper, research skills, and I think that every university librarian must initiate this kind of paper in their university, just to create an awareness about the research skills, research activities, and support them. I will. This is, if you look at the module wise, first module is the literature search technique and strategy, because the literature search technique and strategy is quite complex, and every platform domain have a kind of different skills is required. If you are going to extract the literature from Web of Science, you require some certain different techniques, and you're going to have extract the data from Scopus, you require different. You're going to use an IEEE digital library, you require a different technique. You're going to have a different platform. Therefore, we are trying to educate our research scholars, when they're going to start the research, about the search techniques and strategy about the literature, how to get it, where to get it, how and what are the information sources like primary, secondary, tertiary, and we are showing them, we are demonstrating them how to extract. And when they are going to extract the data from the different sources, then we are helping them to organize that particular literature. We are trying to help them to create their personal library for the research, and we are telling them how to do literature review. Type of the literature is available, type of the publications are there, analyzing the literature, and more important is a citation. What is the citation? Difference between the citation and references. Why should we cite? What is the in-text citation? And when we are going to cite on particular, what is the research citation styles? And citation styles, not only telling them what is the citation style, how to do how to arrange and organize the citation references automatically by using different research management tool like a Mendeley, like Zotero, like EndNote. Okay, so that they can manage the literature. When they are going to do literature review, they can easily manage the the references, and on a single click they can change the reference styles. Next module is that the research ethics and integrity. They should know about the research ethics and integrity. When they're going to start research, they should not manipulate with the research data. No manipulation of the research data, no fabrication of the research data. Okay, so they should know about the research ethics and misconduct. They should aware about the kind of legalities involved in the research. Copyright act, they should know about. They should know the fair use of the fair use. And they should know about the Creative Commons licenses, how they're applying on open access resources, and what are the kind of license is applicable on open source softwares. And then after telling them what is the plagiarism, what is the plagiarism, how to avoid a plagiarism, and kind of tools are available for the detecting plagiarism. I should not say plagiarism. This is similarity rate, text similarity rate from the different sources. And then you analyze. Majority of faculty and the scholar, they are really facing problems while they're writing and publishing research, and sometimes they're detecting some similarity rate, and how to avoid that, what to do, paraphrasing and all, how to manage, where to cite, how to cite. All these things are required. And what is the University Grant Commission guideline related to the plagiarism? Okay, they should know about at the beginning of the research. And then after, we are telling them the complete publishing cycle. This is the one of the important thing, and this is the main concern of the today discussion about research, measuring research impact, that is in a publication. And there is a complete publishing life cycle is there, starting from the preparation of the manuscript, okay, And then after you preparation of manuscript, and then you have to find out the journal. And when you're going to select a journal, how to select a journal? Journal can be selection on not only based on that impact factor. There are many other parameters are there. Even good thing is that the number of publishers, they started their own journal finder. Nowadays things are very easy. Just put your just paste your title and abstract in the journal finder and click there. That will automatically show you which journal is more close to your research. Majority of research is getting rejected by the publishers, because the research what you're doing and where you're submitting your research, that the scope of the particular every journal has their own scope, and we have to look at the seriously about the scope of the journal and then submit. There is a guideline from the journal publishing. So all those things, they required, that kind of awareness is required among the scholar community. And there is a different publishing model: open access or gold publishing model, then green publishing and hybrid publishing, and that traditional commercial publishing, where they should get published the research. My always sincere advice is that go for the open access journals, because when you're going to publish your research in open access journals, you will get people will have a more accessibility, more visibility, more people will read more, and when they will read more, they will get more citation. And when they will get more citation, your H index will go up. Next module of this paper is that research measurement and productivity, what we are talking now. Research impact and all, indicator, quality indicator, impact factors, and research indexes, citation databases, and even though academic social networks, I must say that ResearchGate, Academy and all, ORCID and all. Then where every scholar should have to have an account on the parameter. This paper is very important. I considered for that. Every young budding research scholar, even whatever they attended scholar, they registered with the Parallel University, they must go through and they must understand this whole process. I added one more unit in this paper, that is the research data management, which is very important. And even when you're going to start research and going to create and generate different kind of research data, raw data, and that raw research data which you're going to collect and generate and compile, that is helping you to conclude your research. Okay, and based on that data, you people scholar are concluding the research and publishing. Even that data which you created, generated and collected and compiled during research process, that can be published. There are a number of research data journals are available to the publishers, and there are research data repositories are there. In case you are going to upload your research data in a research data repository, you will have your own impact of the research data, like in your publication. So this is my sincere recommendation that every university librarian must adopt this kind of curricula. At Bennett University, we are not only educating and creating awareness through that paper what I talked about, but libraries also started the research support services. What we do, when research scholar is going to admit with any of taking admission with any of schools, and then whatever research problem they are getting from the research supervisor, or they are exploring themselves, what we are taking the broad area of research along with the 10 keywords, and we are helping them to extract the literature from different sources and telling them this is your whole kind of research produced globally, and now this is now you can explore and go through it. And we are helping whatever you look at the 6 steps of this research support services. So not only collecting, helping organizing literature, but creating kind of awareness. Sometimes they're facing problem and unable to, unable to remove the similarity index from that, report from the Turnitin or the Orkund. Then we are helping them. And then research publication support. Sometimes people are confused. Sometimes scholars are, not really having a agitating, not able to decide. Then we are helping them where to get published, how to get published impactfully. We are helping them. And academic social network that I used to sell. Let me show you practically. Deval ma'am, just let me know in case you are able to see my screen. I will just want to show something.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see this screen or not? Should I stop
Yes,
and
yes,
replay?
sir. We are able to see your screen.
So, Dr. Deval ma'am, what we
Yeah.
have done, we have designed an research subject guide portal, and these are
Okay.
the schools. If you look at the schools, say School of Management, what we have done, what we have mapped the research, our faculty profile with the research data. If you click here, look at the faculty. Say, take an example. This gentleman, financial management, is the teaching financial management. Research area is commodity and derivative, or the whatever research.
Sir, your screen, the only PPT is shown.
No, let me show. Let
Yeah.
me share it.
Okay.
Let me share it. Let me share it. Are you able to see now?
Yes. Now able to see.
So
Yes.
this is the portal we designed, and
Okay.
this is subject guided when we designed. And what we have done, across schools, we have taken faculty profile, and based on the research interest and the teaching interest, we have mapped the research data, or research
Oh,
publication, and the library resources.
okay.
Say this ma'am is teaching business communication management and having a research in managerial communication. So just click on managerial communication. You can see here data,
Okay. Okay.
and this is the top 500 papers on this managerial communication based on the citations,
Okay.
and top impact factor journal on this area of managerial communication, so that my faculty who's going to do research in managerial communication not to go look at here and there for the data. They can make use of this publication what we have organized, and this publication can be utilized in their while they do literature review and all. And these are the journals where they can get published. And in case they want to collaborate with the top author
Faculty members.
in this
Yes.
particular this is global publication, global faculty.
Okay.
The
Yeah. They
people
can
who
collaborate. They can
they can
collaborate.
collaborate with them,
Yes.
and these are the top authors, and they can look at the organization who's producing more research in managerial communication, and the top country, something like. So this kind of thing we are supporting. I believe that when you're talking about research, major concern is the time and energy and financial resources. So in case our library is able to start kind of services, we are able to save the time of the faculty member. That will be great help for them.
Sure, sir.
And this is she's teaching this business communication, so that just click here, she can understand and she can know kind of resources available at Bennett University on communication. So she can see the books available in the business communication. So this kind of support is really required, for the faculty member. So that just was a kind of one example I just wanted to show you. Now let's come to the main agenda. Are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Please continue.
Okay. So now let's talk about the main agenda. That is a matrix, research matrix, and there is a different kind of different level of the matrix. Macro level, meso level, or micro level. And when you talk about the macro level, talk about the global benchmarking and ranking. I told you. When talk about the national level, that talk about the NIRF ranking and benchmarking. When talk about the policy, there is a lot of policies throughout the country, like DBT and funding agencies and some ministries, and the policies related to research and the academic. When talk about the cross-functional field, that concern is that how that international level, national level, or the university level, there is different kind of metrics out there, and we librarian should be more concerned about all these metrics, and we should keep track of these. So the type of the metrics I told you. Now this is the main agenda for the today discussion: how measuring the research impact. When you're going to measure the research impact of your university or any of university, or in case you're going for benchmarking, there are tools available which can help you out to get the data, where they can help you out kind of, mechanism, their kind of metrics they develop across world. There are a lot of metrics has been designed from time to time. There are some popular, research measurement metrics which I'm going to discuss, like impact factor, journal level metrics, article level metrics, and author level metrics. So when talk about the journal level metric, we look at the journal, whether journal is indexed in major citation databases like Scopus on Web of Science, or some other open like an DOAJ, or there's some that we used to look at. Secondly, we look at that impact factor. Impact factor in the Web of Science and JCR, General Citation Report, they used to generate an impact factor. I will be discussing in detail how to calculate impact factor and site score, other impact mechanism. This metrics site score is developed by Scopus. So these particular tools and can help you out to measure the general level metrics, and you can take a decision based on these metrics. Secondly, is an article level metrics. I'm talking about the article level metric that we used to count about citation. Say I publish, say, 30 papers. Out of 30 papers, which one article got and how many citations? That is in a. Or even talking about the not only that traditional metric, you can talk about all metrics. How many people has viewed and read my papers, and how many have downloaded my papers? These all metrics is also there. And when talk about the author metrics, you very famous, this metrics talk about the H index, H5 index, and ITA index. I'll be discussing one by one. So let us talk about the journal level metrics. A ranking of journal with a specific discipline according to impact factor and other influences. And proxy measure used of evaluate quality of journal. Most citation metrics are journal level metrics, and popular, that is an impact factor. Now talk about the impact factor. How we are getting the impact factor? Who is creating the impact factor? Who is generating the impact factor? So if you look at many of, probably you must be aware about that, how this gentleman Garfield he started way back, about he developed this mechanism, the impact factor, in all 1960s. And then after this Institute of Scientific Information, they started, and Thomson and Reuter, they further developed, and thereafter took over by the Clarivate Analytics. So this is the basically formula when you're going to calculate the impact factor of a particular journal. This is the formula. Look at the simple is that total number of time its article was cited during last 2 years. Sometimes you taken data for the last 2 years, sometimes 5 years. I'll be talking about it. And then total number of divided by total number of citable article in the journal during those particular 2 years. That is basically impact factor. Let us understand here how to calculate impact factor. Say X journal, we would like to see that impact factor of X journal in 2014. If you see that item published, so when you are going to look at the total item published in particular last 2 years, and total that particular published article gotten citation in last 2 years, and then you divide. So in case we are going to look at the 2014, the impact factor of the particular journal, we have to consider this 2 years. That way back last period 2 years. That means 2012 or 13. And we have to look at the total number of items, total number of citations, and then divide. So if you look at that, cite and recent items, 181, and number of recent items 40, and then divide that for that particular journal as an 4 impact. Let us understand with the another metrics like look at here. Impact factor of journal 2012, the number of time article published in 2010-12 were cited in 2012, divided by number of article published in 2010 and 11. Again, here we took a 2-year data. Citation, what we are getting from that, citation databases, and then you divide it. Here we have taken a 5-year data. but matrix is the same. So you can drop in a message in case any confusion. I can discuss again. Or in case your university has an access a subscription of Web of Science like in JCR report, you just click. You can you log in and look at that. Impact factor and eigenfactor score is there. You can see the kind of journals is there, total citation there, and the total impact factor there, and other metrics are there. So this is in case but you should know about that kind of metric. What is the metrics and how to calculate? This is the basically metrics, and it is very simple. And whenever you would like to calculate, you can calculate by using this matrix, or to have this kind of subscription. And in case I can understand majority of university don't have access subscription of the Scopus in Web of Science. So another way is that you just go to this SciMago. Look at here. I'm going to share the screen. Ma'am, are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So just go to scimagojr.com. This is the website, and click here and look at that. You can see that journals, index and
Yes.
Scopus, and say, or you can see ranking, general ranking from here. Or if you would like to see the country ranking, look at here. Click on the country and see how different countries are performing in terms of the research. Top as per SciMago journal ranking, there is US is in the top. Look at the number of paper they published, number of citable document, and citations and self citations, and they have their own H index, like say 2386. And again followed by China, UK, Germany, and I was looking at the India. India has in a ninth position. Here, look at India. This is the total document and citable document, and then citation, self citations, and this is the citation per document. Look at here. So JCR, I was talking about impact factor. Impact factor, initiated, and that is maintained by JCR Web of Science people, and that is closed access. That means you people have to subscribe for that. But Scopus again having a quality citation database, and they started this SciMago rankings and all that. All the data is you are able to see here that they have used this Scopus data. So research ranking data you can look at from here, and if you look at the journal ranking, click here, and you can see the journal ranking here. And SJR is in a journal ranking, and this is the H index of the particular journal, and you can see that year wise kind of citations, and or if you would like to look at that particular stream like in computer science, and then subcategory is in artificial intelligence. How many research has been produced globally in artificial intelligence? Now look at, this is the journal. Now this is journal available where that people who's having an interest and doing research, machine learning, deep learning, or artificial intelligence, they can get published on this journal. And you can look at the Q1. I will let you know the Q1 and Q2, Q3. What is the logic behind it? And as I suggested you can filter open access journal. Better to get published the research in open access journal. You will have more impact, more visibility, more accessibility. And these are the journal this area. And look at all the other metrics, and you can select the journal from here. Or as I told you, like you are doing something on artificial intelligence or something. This is the while I started journal finder. You can just click and you can paste here that something like that, a title, or that you can put an abstract, it will show you something. I don't have a paper here, otherwise I'll show you how to do it. Simple formula is that you just have to paste your title here, and then you have to put your abstract, and then click here, find. It will show you that which journal is more close to your research, and then accordingly you can decide. And this is available freely. That is not required any kind of subscription. While a journal finder beta, again Springer journal is a Springer publisher also started journal finder, and IEEE, Elsevier. Look at Elsevier. So nowadays it's very easy, all those things. So this is the way where you can see. Now let's go back to so this is a general impact factor, how to calculate, how to select a journal, and I shown you that not only the JCR, but you can use the Scimago freely available facilities, and you can use that for selection of a journal. You can look at the ranking, you can look at the impact factor, you can look at the H index of the journal, and citation and all. And now other metrics is there, this JCR, Journal Citation Report. They also release a journal immediacy index. What is that? When you're talking about impact factor, we used to take data for the last 2 years. Okay, here immediacy index, that means we would like to see the impact of the current ongoing year, the current year. Simple formula is that number of time article published in 2012. We are calculating for the 2012 only, and we are taking data for 2012 only, not 2 years. So was cited in 2012 and published in 2012, divide, and you will get an immediacy index. This is where basically 2-year, 5-year data having a different perspective. But if you look at a real time quality of the particular journal, you can look at the immediacy index also. Scimago, I told you. Scimago is having, the way we are getting an impact factor and taking 2-year data, but Scimago has a weightage index, weightage citation, and that we are taking the 3-year data here. So these are the tools, as I said. There's Google Scholar, Google Web of Science, and Scopus. Scopus and Web of Science both are the paid, and we require to subscribe these databases. But Google Scholar, you can see here practically. Let me show you again. Google Scholar, how you can make, in case you don't have a subscription, how can you see the that particular journal? Here you have to just go to Google Scholar. Here you can see the Google Scholar matrix. Click here, and now you can see the Google Scholar view all. Here you can see the category. Category in which area you would like, you're seeking a particular journal.
We are not able to.
It's not visible.
Yeah,
Not
it's
visible.
not
Oh,
visible.
sorry.
It's fine.
Let me here. Sorry. Are you able to see now?
Yes, sir.
Here, I wanted to show that just go to Google Scholar for the particular journal, how to find a journal and look at the journal quality. Just click here, go to metrics, and you can see here H5 index. They are either taking 5-year data of this particular journal. Just click view all and see here the category. You can select in a particular area in which you're looking at journal. Say I just want to look at computer science. and then subcategory, click here. And computer science, which area you are going to publish? I say the artificial intelligence. Just click here. And now you look at the journals available in field of the artificial intelligence based on the H5 index. If you click here H5, you look at H5 is the index for the article published in last 5 years, 5 complete years. It is the largest number of H as such that H article published in 2015 to 2019 has at least H citation. Okay. And if you look at in this particular journal, any of this journal, look at here 2003 H5, click here. And now you can see that in this particular journal, which is the top article, that means based on the citation. Look at this particular paper received in a 47,744 citations, and it was published in 2015. If you click here, you can see those 47,000 paper from there. So these are the facilities available for the research community freely. No doubt, there is an all that different citation databases having different metrics, different angle to look at, and different perspective. But at least that can be help you out. And whenever you're going to select a journal, we people can look at here the Google Scholar. And let me show you, Google Scholar is also helping at the individual level, individual research metrics. Like this is my profile, and my H index is 6. How to calculate H index 6? Simple formula is that whatever paper we have published so far, all paper are listed here. And this we arranged based on the citation. This paper got an 63 citation, number 1, number 2 got an 10, number 3 got an 9, and number 4 got an 8, number 5 got an 7, number 6 paper got an 6 citation. And H index, for calculation of H index, is that H number of paper received minimum H citation. That is in H index. So my 6th paper got a minimum 6 citation, therefore my H index is 6. And when my 7th paper that so far got only 5 citation, in case I get 2 more citation, that my H index will be 7. Okay. And when we talk about I10 index, this I10 index is given by the Google itself. I10 index, that means your publication, your paper published got a minimum 10 citation. So if you look at my first paper 63, second paper is 10, third paper got a 9. So that therefore my I10 index is 10. Okay. When I'll get one more citation with this third paper, then my I10 will be 3. You can drop your message in a comment box. In case you need to repeat, I will repeat it again. Well, ma'am, you can look at the chat box. In case need to repeat, I will repeat it again.
Sir, some students' query is that, sir, can you please repeat this again? How to search a journal in Google Scholar?
Google Scholar, okay. So, dear student, just you have to create your account in Google Scholar. Okay, you already have your Gmail ID. You can create your Google account in Google Scholar. You can create your profile even though in Google Scholar. You look at create a profile, and you can add your publication in case there is any publication, and it will show you the year of publication, citation and all, and even though your co-author details, and will show you year-wise citation and all. This is the feature of the Google Scholar. And when you're going to select a journal, just click here on this tab and look at here my profile, my library, matrix, alert. Even young budding research scholar is going to start research, I will advise them to create alert also. I just have my own interest on the research support services and library. So I'm getting a lot of email, daily basis email from the Google, whatever paper getting published in field of research support services and library, I'm getting the alert from the Google. so that when I'm getting a alert from Google, I just click on that particular paper and can see in case paper is useful for me or not. So you can add your research interest here, and then you will be getting the alert email from the Google on your research area, so that you can start your research. Now talk about the how to see the journal, how to look at the journal. Click on the matrix. Okay. Look at the by default is showing that top journals on across discipline based on S5 index. But you just click here, view all. If you click on view all and say somebody is working on that chemical and material sciences, click here. There is a subcategory because this field, chemical and material science, is so vast. Just click here in subcategory. Look at the which area you're working. Say I'm working on analytical chemistry. Just click on analytical chemistry. These are the journal, quality journals, which having a good, H5 in this index and considered as a quality journal. And if you look at the journal, they must be indexed in Scopus and Web of Science. Just click any of it. Say I am just clicking on second number journal, analytical chemistry. Look at analytical chemistry, and I can see that top cited paper published in analytical chemistry so far. In case I want to see this paper, just I can click here and look at this is the ACS publication, and now I can read. Look at the article view. This is the Almatrix. I'm going to talk about Almatrix. This is citation received, Almatrix, article views, and other detail of the publication. Look at here. Okay. And you can even look at the papers.
There is some query how to find a law relevant journals.
Law.
Yes.
This is the same process, dear student.
Yeah, you have to select the subject. Yeah.
You have to click for category first of all here, like here. Now you can look at the category. You can see law in which area should come. Say humanities, and you can look at humanity or social sciences should be there. Social sciences. Look at social sciences. If you look at a social sciences, then after you can look at here. Say international law or whatever law is there. Say law. Click here law. Now you can see that in the top journal and field of law. This is Yale University, Harvard University, Columbia Law Review, and all top journals are there. In case you want to see what kind of paper Columbia Law Review has published, click here. And you can see the top cited paper in this particular journal. You can see here. Okay. And if you want to look at this particular paper, you click here. It will direct you on the paper. Okay. Is there any other query?
Yeah, someone wants to know about the explained H index, H5 index, I10 index. It's already explained it.
I explained.
Yeah, but shortly you can explain. So,
I can just repeat
yeah,
it.
thank you so much.
Let me talk about H index again. Dear friend, this is my profile. It is hardly matter how many paper I have published. Important is that how many paper my got in citation. Number one thing. Number two thing is that then whatever paper you published and number of citation you received, you arrange that paper based on the citations. And if you look at this particular paper published in 2011, gotten a 63 highest citation. That is the first and second law, second, third, and the this first two, three, four, five, six. If you look at my sixth paper, gotten six citation minimum. Formula is H number of paper received in H citation. Okay, minimum. Maximum you can get in a, say this is 63, it can be 6,000, hardly matter. But in case my one paper got a 6,000 citation, that my H index will be 1 only. Second paper got a minimum 2 citation or more than 2, thus H index will be 2. Third paper minimum have a 3 citation or more, that will be H index will be 3. This is the basically metric. H number of paper received must received H citation. Should I repeat it again or not?
I think it's clear right now. No. Okay.
Okay. H10
Got it.
index,
Yeah.
H10 again has a similar kind of metrics. This is H10 is started by Google. That means your one paper must have received 10. Second paper again minimum 10. Third paper minimum, maximum can be anything, but minimum I'm talking about. My I10 is 2. That means my only 2 paper received a minimum to the 10 citation. In case my third paper, this is so far received 9 citation. In case I get one more citation third paper, then my I10 will be 3. Okay. So
Yes.
should I come to
Yeah.
to
Sure. Come back
presentation?
to topic. Yeah.
So you must remember that I was talking about the general citation report. I told you was impact factor and all. Then other metrics, I told you medius index. Then SCImago ranking I shown you. These are the ranking of journal, ranking by country, ranking by journal. These are the tools which is required for the research metrics, Google Scholar, Web of Science, Scopus, or the other metrics I'll talk about. Then talk about the Google metrics. I already shown you about Five index and all, and how to look at the journals quality. I already shown you. And now talk about this Scopus. Scopus, if you look at an author index, Scopus is, or the Web of Science, both giving a different kind of metrics, research metrics, like an H index, individual level, institutional level. Look at that, Scopus institutional research metrics. This is my university publication trend, how we are going to publish research, since last 2016 to 2021. And this is Web of Science, and look at that. Our university has received total 700 citation. Without self citation is 637, and total 172 publication published. This is very young university. So both citation databases giving a lot of different kind of research metrics. Even you can do any kind of benchmarking and compare and ranking and all. And now let us talk about the author metrics. When talk about the author metrics, I shown you there is an author can have an H index. I shown you how to calculate H index. General level metrics that I shown you, impact factor and all. I10 index, I shown you I10 index in the index. And this is the H index. And this is again for one example. If you look at how to calculate index number of publication, one side I say I published 8 papers so far. Look at a number of times citation received of that particular paper. One paper received 15, then second paper 12, third paper 11, fourth paper 8, fifth paper received a minimum 6 citation. So what is formula? H number of paper received minimum H citation. The fifth paper received 6 citation. If you look at a sixth paper, why not 6? Why not this H index is 6? Because as a sixth paper is received only 3 citation. In case sixth paper received in 6 citation, that H index will be 6. Okay. And yeah, H index can vary from database to database. If you look at this gentleman and one scientist, and if you look at his count Web of Science, his citation count is different because the size of the journal in Web of Sciences corpus having a different, and I believe that more than 90%, 80 to 90% have an overlapping of the journal, but some of Scopus has a more content in terms of the Scopus index conference proceedings, books and journals. Therefore, that both have a different kind of research data available in their citation databases. Therefore, if you look at the Google H index, we will have a quite higher because Google having a different metric, and Web of Science Scopus has a different one. Okay. So, and this H index and impact factor both are very dynamic. They can change even today evening and tomorrow, because in case I get a more citation tomorrow, my H index will be different. So when you're going to talk about the author level metrics, you required to have a certain, some kind of IDs, author IDs, like an ORCID ID. ORCID ID is like your Aadhaar card, your unique ID. Say I'm Sanjay Kataria, some paper I published with as Kataria, some paper I published Sanjay K or something, or sometime I got another Sanjay Kataria. And as a host told that I worked in 2 to 3 different universities and published paper. Sometimes it's difficult to retrieve those paper, to acknowledge that paper, to judge that paper. Therefore, every scientist, scholar or author should have to have one unique ID, that is ORCID ID, that is like your Aadhaar card. And I suggest all young scholars, PhD scholar, today only you should create your ORCID ID. You just put on Google ORCID, and that is free of cost, and you have to create your own account, and that ID you will be carrying your lifetime, and that will help you out to get extract your research paper completely without hesitation and without any doubt. So Scopus also started long back, that is Scopus ID, Research ID, Publon ID, Google Scholar ID. I shown you how to create it and all. So these particular accounts will helping the scholar scientists to track their research metrics. So far we have discussed about the journal level metrics and author level. Now let us discuss about the article level metrics. When you are going to track the metrics of particular article, we can see that particular paper, how many citation that particular paper has received so far, number of citation of the whole publication, average number of the citation of the and the citation particular in publication I told, and reading list, download and all. Let us see here, say Web of Science, this particular paper. If you look at this paper, on the right side you can see that this particular paper cited 4,330 times. Okay, so each and every paper they have their own metrics, and you can just see that kind of quality of the papers. And I created my account in Publon, and again suggest you all to please create your account in Publon platform. And again, this is Web of Science, but is in free. And you can see my 11 publication is considered by Web of Science, indexed here. Total number of sites is 35, H index is 3, and Google given me H index 6, but here Publon is giving H index 3. Average citation per item 3.2. Even Publon is maintaining kind of paper I reviewed in different journal, which is indexed in Web of Science. If you look at that, the verified review 4 and verified review last 12 months 2, and this kind of metrics you will get, and you can see the person involved in the research, writing and publication. Now let us talk about a new metrics, which is kind of supplement or the complement to the traditional metrics. All metrics is the creation and study of new metrics based on social webs, analyzing and informing scholarship. That means basically this is a kind of the mechanism been designed, developed, where getting that all the information about your publication, whether it's available on Scopus, whether your paper available in Mendeley, whether your paper is available in any publication repository or any kind anywhere, that get extract that all that information, like your social media account, like in Facebook. When you're posting any of information that in Facebook, you can see people start commenting. People comments, people like, people sometime put on a dislike or whatever. So if you look at here, alternative metrics, that means this is a called alternative metrics, and this is a digital indicator of engagement. And you look at that all different media, different source of data they are getting extracted and organizing the data. Just look at the publication and see the preprint publication we used to submit in our data repository, publications, social medias, the information from the social media, like, dislike, download, read, view, and all. Look at here, these are the some the platforms which create an Almetrics, and this is based on subscription, but there is a number of other platforms like Applause and ResearchGate and Academia. This is available freely, which will give you an idea about your research publications quality. Say this is my account in ResearchGate. If you look at the number of total number of people, research interest 82, citation 86, recommended 5, and read for 3,540. Something like academia.net. This again having a different metrics. You can see that activities of your account, your publication. Fixare, this is a very interesting. I told you that not only the research publication, but the research data having equal importance and having a kind of impact of your research globally. And I suggest you, all the new research scholar going to start the research with the Palo University or the other university, please understand the importance of the research data management. There is a lot of videos are available on YouTube about the research data management. Try to understand the research data management. You people going to start the research and going to create, generate, curate, and compile a lot of research data. That is the raw research data. And based on the research data, you're going to conclude your research. And when you're going to conclude research, you're going to submit your research thesis and going to publish your research. Even after, your research data will have an importance, and who know better than you to importance of your research data. Therefore, create an account of any of research data repository and start storing and archiving your research data. And you can embargo your research data, and after completion of your research, you can share your research data, any of research data repository like Fixare. And when you're going to upload the raw research data, you will start getting all metrics and metrics of research impact of, look at total view, download, and citation and all. And due to time constraint, I can demonstrate you completely research data management along with or we can have some other session related to research data management, which is very important for the research scholar. And we can show you how you people going to create a data, how people should maintain the data, how you should upload the data, what is the metadata, how and what kind of data is required for the research data repository, how you can look at the impact of your research data. Okay, there are a lot of reference management tool or the repositories are there which creating a lot of metrics of your research. So now let me conclude and with a few suggestions and tips for you. And first and foremost, when talking about the quality research, start your research with good quality literature. Try to always cite the quality publications. When you're going to write, start reading even though good journals, and journals which have a good impact factors, journals which have a good impact, good H index, or having a good ranking on your areas, or that your librarian probably can help you out to understand and find out the journal, which journals are good on your research interest. make a list of those journals. When you're going to start and you are able to understand the research process, research life cycle, and you know having a good enough, when you have a good enough understanding of a research publication and the journal, and going to publish a research in a good journal, you're a half of that that journey will be success. And when you're going to publish your research in a very good impact factor journals, there is no worried about the research metrics and all that. The metrics will automatically will have more citation, more impact and of your research. And as I said that you use a unique name consistently throughout your academic career. That means make sure that when you're going to publish your research, you are using the same, no shortcut, no first name, no last name. Whatever name you're going to start, you decide one time, and entire life you have to put your name with your publication on the same manner. Third, that use standardized institutional affiliations and address, no abbreviation. Generally, people used to have, sometimes they put in a full name of your your affiliation, sometimes use abbreviation like IIT Delhi, sometimes like in Parul University, some say the PU. Okay, so better whatever you're going to write, you have to understand. Repeat a key phrase in your abstract while you're writing, and you have to ensure when you are going to write a research paper, and whatever keyword you are going to give that particular research paper, that keyword should be utilized in the research, this abstract also. Because when we are going to start a search query, search strategy, that your research publication can be retrieved easily, people can view, can read, can cite your paper. Deposit paper in your open access repository. Yes, many of university, they started their own institutional repository, where that, like in Bennett, we have our own repository. All that publication of the university we are storing, we are archiving in an institutional repository. And that make that repository, there is when you're going to a publishing life cycle, there is a two type, published version and pre-published version. So majority of publisher, they're allowing to submit your research paper in your repository pre-published version only, and they don't have any problem, and then after you can publish your research. That repository will be available in public domain, and people can look at your journal, look at your paper more and more, and can read more and cite more. When they'll cite more, then you will have more citation, your H index will go up. Then keep your professional website, if possible. Either you create your own website, or can create a blog and upload your whatever paper you're going to publish, and market in and promote your publication. Even I suggest you, when a young scholar, when going to write research paper, write your paper along with your supervisor or some pioneer scientist, scholar on that particular field, so that you understand how to write the papers, and what are the important thing you should keep in mind while you're writing paper. And when you're going to write a paper with your senior colleagues and pioneer authors, then you will get a kind of recognition. Slowly, gradually, you will get citations, and thereafter, when you feel that I'm good enough, capable to write by paper solo author, then you can start your paper writing. And open access, increase citation. Yes, I told you that we must we should prefer that publish our research in open access journals, because when your journal is in open access, easily accessible to all the community, they will have a more view, read and citation, and that will be more impactful than traditional journals. Start publish and sorry, team authored some, if you look at in a foreign university, they have different research groups. They used to do research in groups, and the groups create publish the paper in along all the team members, and they will have a more impact of your research. So when in case Parul University you have a research group, you try to collaborate. And recently we filed one patent in Bennett University with three research scholars in different fields: mechanical, one from biotech, and one from computer science. They filed a patent, and this is during this COVID. They designed some mask and all. So this is very important, and this is age for interdisciplinary research. Okay, we should collaborate with that. Our the team member, the scientist who's working on that particular area. Use more references. Better to, when you're going to write a research paper, you should keep in mind what kind of paper you're going to cite, and if possible, you should have done a detailed references, because that will reflect that yes, you have gone through the good enough literature, you have a proper understanding, and that literature will have more acknowledged. Publish publish a long paper, that is okay. So when you're going to publish and try to contribute something on different medias, social medias platforms like in Wikipedia, start blogging, and then create your account in ResearchGate and Academy, as I shown you my own account. Try to write a few review paper. Review paper review journal generally have a more high impact. And at least I suggest you, when you're going to start research, public PhD, and your first job is to start with the literature review. And when you're going to review literature, try to compile and compose and prepare one review paper initially, so that will have a kind of more acknowledge, more impact of your research. There are sometimes people used to have a question type of the title of the research paper. We should avoid that, and start sharing the research data as I suggested you, and present your working paper in conferences, so that you will have some more good collaborators. You can have more visibility of your research. Publicize yourself. That means you should have to have your publicize yourself, that link with latest published article, whatever paper you are going to publish late, and get latest publication. And when you are having an email ID, you used to use a signature in your email at the and you should give a URL or say something title about your publication. When people, you're communicating with the people, they look at your signature and see, oh, something new paper has been published, they probably will click and see on your paper, and they probably read and cite your paper. And create an account on ORCID and our research ID, I told you. And if you look at a practice of Western scholar community, I was in London for about 6 months. I used to say that a lot of people used to tweet. But whenever you're getting a paper published, you just tweet your papers, and you also try to follow on your Twitters the top scientists on your area, or the Nobelist on your person who has a Nobel got a Nobel award and on your particular stream. Try to follow the Facebook, this social media, Twitters and other medias, and tweet them, and that people will look at on your research, and probably they will have they will read your paper, they look at your paper, and they will cite your paper, will have more visibility of paper, something like that. If you want to be best, cite the best. This is the one ultimate agenda. In case you are not citing something good in quality publication, and not reading the quality publication, you will not able to publish quality public research. And lastly, I will say a few things. Increased access means try to publish your research in open access journal that focus your community, more access, more download, more read. Increased download, that means ultimately when people are able to access your article, they will have more download. When they have more download, they have more citation. When have more citation, you have more impact of your research in terms of citation. So this is my I tried my best to just summarize. Thank you very much, and happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much, sir, for your very informative session. Really, I appreciate that. It's very useful for our researchers and all the staff and stakeholders. There are some few questions. That one question is from the Nadeem, that Google Scholar shows journal which are only indexed in Scopus or WS.
No, not necessary. But
Okay.
see, I told you, it is even though not necessary that the journal index in Web of Science should be available in Scopus,
Okay.
because all that they have their own criteria for selection of journal, indexing of journal, not necessary. But if you look at the H5 of your Google, if I tried and tested many times, the number of journal having a high H5, generally they're indexed in a Google Scholar reference. Or you can create your account on Scopus, that is free of cost, and you look at the list of journals available. The list of journals indexed in Scopus that is available. List is there.
There is one question from Vaishali Potak. Should we publish journals similar to our chosen topics?
Can you repeat question, please?
Should we publish journals similar to our chosen topic? Yeah, you already explained that you have to choose from that index and all that.
See, when you're going to select a journal, a few things you have to keep in mind. First and foremost is indexing, because in case journal is not indexed in the citation databases, we'll have a not impact factor. Or this kind of. To have to ensure that journal should be indexed, must have an impact factor. Number 3, that the number of publishers, they started their own journal finder. I already shown you. Just when you are going to write a research paper and you are having any confusion, use journal finder. Just paste your title along with the abstract there, click on find, automatically will suggest you which journal is more close to your research.
Your research, yes.
Yes.
Yes, you can. We have that recording on this webinar, so you can go through that. It will help you for your future research. Okay. One another question is from sir. Can you please explain the importance of H index?
I told you there is a three type of metrics: journal metrics, author metrics, and article metrics. When talking about author metrics, like you and me, if you want to see how best you are in research, what kind of research you have produced, I will look at your profile first, your H index. That will telling all the story of your research, that number, how many paper you published, and what are the quality of the paper. Say, in case somebody is published 100 papers, hardly matter. But person who has published 20 paper and gotten all 20 paper gotten citation, far better than the person who has published 100 paper. Okay.
Okay. Then how is the H index calculated if none of the number of citation match with the serial numbers?
See, when you're going to write a paper and you're going to create an account in Publons or Scopus or this Google Scholar, that then when you will get a citation, you will get alert. I'm getting a lot of alert from the Google even. This particular paper got a citation, and if you click on your profile, you can see that paper got a citation. So you just have to create your account, and you will getting update.
One question is about G index calculated.
G index, see, there is I intentionally not covered that G index, but every index and a different having a different kind of metrics. When talking about H index, I told you H number of paper minimum have H citation. G index has a G square something. Say four paper, that means 4 square is 16 something like that. That is. Or
Yeah.
if you, I can send you some, the more detail about the index.
Okay.
Now,
I want some example also. If you if you are
okay.
able to give
Yeah. What I will do, taken meanwhile one more question. Let me show you some. Take other question. Meanwhile.
No, there is no other questions.
G index. Just
Really, it is very useful. We know about the Google Scholar, how to register, how to calculate the H index, and very useful for ORCID, how to enroll yourself in ORCID ID and all that. So really, it's very useful for the researchers and your faculty members also.
Actually, I started my paper, because in last 20 years, I just realized that there's really required some basic skills.
Yes, definitely.
And you will be surprising to know that people has published 50 to 100 papers and having a good impact factor, of those journal, but they are not aware about this.
Aware about the, yes, definitely. awareness is very important for right now. It's very useful and very important for the
Can you see
researchers.
this G
Yes,
index?
sir.
Look
Yes,
at
sir.
here. You look at this is the G square.
Yes.
So if you look at here, say G index for Professor X. What they are doing? Say this is number of paper. Let me. Should I download it?
So like it's similar to H index, like one
Have
calculation
different,
is
yeah,
different. Yeah.
different calculation is different.
Yes.
So
It's
one side,
similar.
just look at a number of
Yeah.
publication, received number of citation. Say my first paper received one citation, second paper received 4 citation. So that for two square, yani 4, and then we have to again uh, adding the total citation. So
Yeah.
first paper got on 50, then got on 18, something like that. This is the matrix. But this
Yeah,
is
that's
generally people don't consider, and there is a number of more metrics are there.
yes, true, sir.
Okay, let me see any.
So I think
So anyway, I'll be available on your email, not a problem, and you can connect your dynamic librarian, Dr. Devaldin, and you can drop me in any time, any queries, question. I'll be happy to reply.
yeah, that's very nice. Oh, so nice of you, sir. Vanda madam, any questions from your side?
No, I've checked all, and I think all the questions have been answered. And of course, I want to thank Dr. Sanjay. Really, it was a very wonderful and very useful lecture. We have got good feedback from the students also, that they really liked it, appreciated. 2 hours, it is a big time, but time just flies, and you could, connect it. Each dot you could connect it. So really, it was very useful for all of us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
So on behalf of Parole University, we from very bottom of our heart, I express our sincere gratitude to Dr. Sanjay Kataria, University Librarian, Bennett University, Noida, for conducting a very high effective session. Thank you very much, sir, for your sparing your valuable time from your busy schedule for this webinar. We really very thankful to Dr. M.N. Patel, sir, Provost, Parole University, and Dr. H.S. Vijay Kumar, sir, Registrar, Parole University, for sparing your valuable time from their busy schedule and motivate us for conducting such informative, innovative session. A very big thank you to the participants of this session, especially deans, director, principals of Parole universities for sparing their valuable time. And my sincere thank to Mr. Brijesh Acharya for wonderful IT support. Without them, it is not able to conduct a live in Facebook. So thank you very much, Brijesh sir. Thank you very much to the entire team of Parole University for their shared vision and continue support us. With this, we come to the end of this today's webinar. Till the next webinar, goodbye. Take care and stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank you.
much
Bye. See you.
for valuable time. Thank you. See you.